Healthcare, natural resources, and affordable housing. Those were some of the key topics at last night's Ontario Liberal Leadership Debate. The five hopefuls shared the stage for the very first time on the Lakehead University campus as they look to rebuild the party that currently holds just 9 seats at Queen's Park. Joe Sadowski was there and tells us what was said.
The first question that kicked off the debate was what the candidates would do to benefit Northern Ontario and the city of Thunder Bay if elected. Crombie, Shue, and Erskine-Smith all mentioned how the mining industry and agricultural potential in our region is untapped by the provincial government.
And create jobs in growing sectors like mining and forestry, like in tourism and advanced manufacturing to bring in investment and create jobs.
Why haven't we been doing the research and development to find out new uses for the fibers that we grow in the north? It's something that we should be constantly doing.
Not only leadership to tap into the potential, but leadership to make sure that there's real economic reconciliation as part of that.
Adil Shamji said there won't be any economic prosperity in the north without reconciliation with the First Nations communities.
Including addressing the Ring of Fire and making sure that it is done in a manner that is consultative with First Nations people.
Yasir Naqvi made a promise that if he's elected, he would visit Northern Ontario once every quarter.
That's the only way we can cover the ground in this great Northern West so that we can come up with ideas around how do we get you more family doctors and nurses and other important healthcare services that you need.
On the topic of provincial health care, Crombie shared her thoughts on the Ford government's Bill 124, and Naqvi was adamant about getting international doctors and nurses eligible to practice in Canada.
If I were elected premiers, repeal Bill 124. It is simply wrong. Our healthcare professionals deserve a fair wage.
We have to license internationally trained professionals. Over 60% of them in this province do not get to practice in their own profession.
And finally, the housing crisis was addressed.
I think that we should be legislating the right to build higher density and even higher density around transit hubs.
And lastly, we need to make sure we treat housing as a home first and an investment second. And it requires provincial leadership.
You know, he said that housing should be a home first and not an investment. I'm going to take that even further and say that housing should be a human right.
The next Liberal leadership debate will be held on the 1st of October in Stratford, Ontario, and the ultimate decision of the new Liberal provincial leader will be announced on December 2nd. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.